It was a normal Tuesday morning. The sun rose over New York City like it always did. People walked to work, kids went to school, and everything seemed fine. Then, at 9:15 a.m., the sky changed. Big dark shapes appeared in the blue sky. They were so big they blocked out the sun in some places. People stopped walking and looked up. Cars stopped in the streets. Everyone stared at the sky with open mouths. "What are those things?" a man asked, pointing up. No one knew. The shapes were huge and black. They didn't look like any planes or clouds anyone had ever seen. They just sat there, not moving. Then, all at once, the shapes started to come down. They got bigger and bigger as they came closer to the ground. Now people could see they were ships, giant spaceships. Suddenly, bright lights shot out from the ships. The lights hit buildings and cars. Where they hit, things exploded. Loud booms filled the air. People started to scream and run. "It's an alien attack," someone yelled. More lights shot from the ships. More things blew up. The air filled with smoke and fire. People ran in all directions, trying to find a safe place. In Washington, D.C., the president sat in a room deep under the White House. Generals and advisors ran around, yelling into phones and looking at screens. "Mr. President, we're under attack," a general said. "These ships are all over the world. They're attacking every major city." The president looked pale. "Can we fight back?" he asked. The general shook his head. "We've tried, sir. Our missiles and planes can't even get close to those ships. Nothing we have can hurt them." Back in New York, a brave police officer named Jack tried to help people. He saw a little girl crying on the street. Jack ran to her and picked her up. "It's okay," he said. "I'll help you find your mom." Just then, a bright light came towards them. Jack turned and ran, holding the girl tight. The light hit right behind them, throwing them to the ground. Jack covered the girl with his body as pieces of cement fell around them. When Jack looked up, he saw one of the alien ships right above them. It was huge, like a floating city. Strange sounds came from it, loud and scary. All over the world, scenes like this played out. Paris, Tokyo, Moscow, every big city was under attack. The aliens didn't talk or ask for anything. They just attacked. In London, a news reporter stood on a rooftop. Behind her, alien ships flew over the city, shooting their bright lights. "This is Helena Smith reporting live," she said into her camera. "The world is under attack by what appear to be alien forces. The military seems powerless to stop them. If anyone can hear this, please seek shelter immediately." Just as she finished speaking, a bright light hit the building next to her. The camera shook and went dark. Hours passed. The attacks didn't stop. Earth's armies tried to fight back, but nothing worked. Their best jets were swatted out of the sky like flies. Their strongest bombs didn't even scratch the alien ships. As night fell, the world was in chaos. Cities burned. Millions of people were hurt or missing. Those who could hid in basements and subway tunnels. In the secret room under the White House, the president made a hard choice. "We have to use the nukes," he said. Everyone in the room looked shocked. "But sir," one advisor said, "that could kill millions of our own people." The president looked sad. "I know, but if we don't try something big, the aliens will kill everyone." He pushed a red button on the desk in front of him. All over the world, nuclear missiles shot into the sky. They flew up towards the alien ships. Everyone held their breath, hoping this would work. The missiles hit the ships. Huge explosions lit up the night sky. For a moment, everyone thought it had worked. But when the smoke cleared, the alien ships were still there. They didn't have a single scratch. In New York, Jack the police officer saw this from the window of a basement where he was hiding with the little girl and her mom. He had found them and brought them to safety. "Oh no," Jack said. "Not even nukes can stop them." The little girl looked up at him with big, scared eyes. "What's going to happen to us?" she asked. Jack didn't know what to say. He just hugged her and her mom. As the first day of the attack ended, Earth was losing badly. The aliens were too strong. Nothing could stop them. People everywhere were scared and didn't know what to do. But deep underground, in secret bases around the world, some humans weren't giving up. They had plans. Big plans. Plans that would change everything. The aliens thought they had won. They thought humans were weak. But they were wrong. The real fight was just about to begin. 1 week after the aliens first showed up, Earth was a mess. Big cities that were once full of life now looked like ghost towns. Broken buildings and burned cars were everywhere. The air smelled like smoke and something weird, probably from the alien weapons. In what used to be Central Park in New York, a group of people lived in tents. They had run away from their homes when the aliens attacked. Now, they tried to live day by day, always scared the aliens would find them. Among these people was Sarah, a school teacher. She walked through the camp, giving out food to kids. The kids looked tired and scared. Their eyes were big, and they didn't smile much. "Here you go, Tommy," Sarah said, giving a can of beans to a little boy. "Make sure to share with your sister." Tommy nodded and ran off. Sarah sighed. She missed her old life, her classroom, her students. Now, all she could do was try to keep these kids alive. On the other side of the world, in the ruins of Tokyo, a man named Kenji crawled through a broken building. He was looking for anything useful: food, medicine, tools. Kenji used to be a banker. Now he was just trying to survive. Suddenly, Kenji heard a noise. He froze. Was it the aliens? He held his breath and listened. The noise came again, the soft meow. Kenji relaxed. It was just a cat. He found the cat hiding under some rubble. It was skinny and looked scared. Kenji picked it up gently. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'll take care of you." As Kenji left the building with the cat, he saw something that made him stop. In the sky, far away, he could see one of the alien ships. It was huge and scary. Kenji quickly hid behind a wall, holding the cat close. He waited until the ship passed, his heart beating fast. Back in America, in a small town in Texas, a group of people had turned the local high school into a fort. They had guns and food stored up. They were ready to fight if the aliens came. The leader of this group was Maria, who used to be the town's mayor. She stood on the roof of the school, looking out at the empty streets. "See anything?" a voice asked. It was John, a farmer who had joined Maria's group. Maria shook her head. "No aliens today, but they'll come. They always do." John nodded. "We'll be ready for them." Underground, in secret bases all over the world, scientists worked day and night. They were trying to find a way to fight the aliens. In one of these bases, under the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Lee worked on a strange machine. "How's it going?" his assistant, Alex, asked. Dr. Lee wiped sweat from his forehead. "Slow, but I think we're getting somewhere. If we can just figure out how the alien weapons work, maybe we can make our own." Alex looked worried. "Do you think we have enough time? The aliens are destroying everything up there." Dr. Lee nodded. "We have to have enough time. We're the world's only hope." In space, things looked even worse. The moon base, once a symbol of human progress, was now dark and quiet. The aliens had attacked it on the second day. Now, only one person was left alive there. Astronaut Jane floated in the control room of the moon base. Through the window, she could see Earth. It looked so small and blue. And around it, she could see the alien ships, hundreds of them. Jane spoke into her radio, even though she knew no one could hear her. "This is moon base to Earth. If anyone can hear this, don't give up. We can beat them. We have to." Back on Earth, in the ruins of London, a young boy named Oliver ran through the streets. He was carrying a bag full of food he had found. Oliver was fast and smart. He knew how to hide from the aliens. As he turned a corner, he saw something that made him stop. There in the middle of the street was an alien. It was the first time Oliver had seen one up close. The alien was tall, with gray skin and big black eyes. It held a strange gun and was looking around, like it was searching for something. Oliver's heart beat fast. He wanted to run, but he was too scared to move. Then he heard a noise behind him. He turned and saw a little girl. She looked like she was going to cry. Oliver knew if the girl made a sound, the alien would find them. He had to do something. Taking a deep breath, Oliver ran out into the street. "Hey, you big ugly alien," he yelled. "Over here." The alien turned towards Oliver. Its big eyes got even bigger. Oliver didn't wait. He threw a rock at the alien and then ran as fast as he could. The alien chased after Oliver, shooting its weird gun. But Oliver was too quick. He ran and ran, leading the alien away from where the little girl was hiding. Finally, after what felt like hours, Oliver lost the alien. He sat down in a dark alley, breathing hard. He was scared, but also proud. He had saved that little girl. As night fell, the ruins of Earth's cities got dark. But here and there, small lights could be seen. They were campfires, flashlights, candles. They showed that humans were still there, still alive, still fighting. The aliens had ruined Earth, but they hadn't beaten humanity. Not yet. In hidden bases, in makeshift camps, in fortified buildings, people were planning, working, getting ready to fight back. The world was in ruins, but hope wasn't dead. The real battle was just beginning. 2 weeks after the alien attack, something changed. The fear that had gripped Earth started to turn into anger. People were tired of hiding, tired of being scared. Now, they wanted to fight back. In the ruins of Chicago, a woman named Lisa stood on a broken car. A crowd of people gathered around her. Lisa used to be a gym teacher. Now, she was a leader. "We can't keep running," Lisa shouted. Her voice was strong and angry. "These aliens think they can just come here and take our world. I say no." The crowd cheered. They were angry too. They had lost their homes, their jobs, their normal lives. Now, they wanted revenge. "But how can we fight them?" a man in the crowd asked. "Their weapons are too strong." Lisa smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile that meant trouble was coming. "We use our brains," she said. "We know this city. We know how to hide, where to set traps. The aliens don't. We'll make them sorry they ever came to Earth." The crowd cheered again, louder this time. They were ready to fight. Far away, in a secret underground base in the mountains of Switzerland, world leaders met. They sat around a big table, their faces serious. The President of the United States spoke first. "We've all seen what these aliens can do," he said. "Their weapons are stronger than anything we have. But we can't give up. We need a plan." The room was quiet. Everyone knew how bad things were. Then a woman stood up. She was the Prime Minister of India. "I have news," she said. Her voice was excited. "Our scientists have been studying the aliens' technology. We found something interesting." She pushed a button, and a big screen on the wall lit up. It showed a picture of a strange-looking gun. "This is an alien weapon we managed to steal," the Prime Minister said. "We've figured out how it works, and we think we can make our own." The room burst into excited talk. For the first time since the attack, there was hope. In Australia, a group of surfers had turned into fighters. They used their boards to sneak up on alien ships that came close to the shore. Jake, their leader, paddled quietly through the water. He could see the big alien ship ahead. It was hovering just above the waves. "Ready, mates?" Jake whispered to his friends. They nodded, their faces serious. Suddenly, they all paddled hard, riding a big wave right up to the alien ship. As they got close, they threw homemade bombs at the ship. The bombs exploded, and the alien ship shook. It started to sink into the ocean. Jake and his friends cheered as they paddled away fast. "That's for destroying Bondi Beach," Jake yelled back at the sinking ship. In New York, a young hacker named Zoe sat in a dark room, her face lit by computer screens. She had been working for days, trying to break into the aliens' communication system. Suddenly, her screen filled with strange symbols. Zoe's eyes went wide. "I'm in," she whispered. She started typing fast, her fingers flying over the keyboard. She was planting a virus in the alien system. It wouldn't destroy them, but it would confuse them, make it harder for them to talk to each other. As Zoe worked, she smiled. It felt good to finally do something to fight back. In Africa, a group of rangers who used to protect animals from poachers now had a new enemy. They used their tracking skills to hunt aliens. Amari, their best tracker, knelt on the ground, looking at strange marks in the dirt. "They went this way," he said, pointing. His team followed quietly. They moved through the tall grass like ghosts. Soon, they saw two aliens ahead. The aliens were setting up some kind of machine. Amari gave a hand signal. His team spread out, surrounding the aliens. Then, on Amari's signal, they attacked. The fight was quick and quiet. Soon, the two aliens were tied up, and the strange machine was in pieces. Amari looked at the captured aliens. "Now," he said, "we're going to learn all about you and your plans." Back in the secret mountain base, Dr. Lee worked on the new weapon. It looked like a mix of human and alien technology. "Almost done," he said to his team. "Just a few more adjustments." Suddenly, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed. "What's happening?" Dr. Lee yelled. A soldier ran into the room. "The base is under attack," he shouted. "Aliens have found us." Dr. Lee looked at the unfinished weapon. They were so close. He made a decision. "Get everyone out," he told the soldier. "I'll stay and finish this. It's our only chance." As everyone ran out, Dr. Lee worked faster than he ever had before. He could hear explosions getting closer. Just as the lab door burst open and aliens rushed in, Dr. Lee finished the weapon. He pointed it at the aliens and pulled the trigger. A bright light filled the room. When it faded, the aliens were gone. The weapon had worked. Dr. Lee laughed. It was a laugh of relief, of joy, and of anger finally finding a way out. "How do you like that?" He yelled at the empty room where the aliens had been. That's what happens when you mess with Earth. All around the world, humans were fighting back. They were angry, and now they had hope. The aliens had made a big mistake. They thought humans would be easy to beat, but they were wrong. Humans were tough. Humans were clever. And now, humans were very, very angry. The real war was just beginning. 1 month after the aliens first attacked, Earth was buzzing with activity. People weren't just angry anymore. Now, they were getting ready for a big fight. In an old car factory in Detroit, hundreds of people worked day and night. The factory used to make cars. Now, it was making something very different. Tom, an old car mechanic, stood next to a huge machine. It looked like a mix between a tank and a spaceship. "Never thought I'd be building something like this," he said, wiping sweat from his forehead. Next to him, Sarah, a young engineer, nodded. "It's amazing what we can do when we have to," she said. She pressed a button, and the machine hummed to life. "Let's see those aliens try to beat this." All around the world, scenes like this were playing out. Humans were using their skills and knowledge to create new weapons and defenses. In a secret lab under the streets of London, Dr. Emma Watson, no relation to the actress, worked on a special project. She held up a small chip, no bigger than her fingernail. "This," she said to her team, "is how we're going to beat the aliens." One of her assistants looked confused. "But it's so small," he said. Dr. Watson smiled. "Size isn't everything," she said. "This chip can hack into the aliens' technology. Once we plant it in their ships, we can control them." Meanwhile, in the Australian outback, a group of soldiers trained hard. They were learning how to use the new weapons that scientists had created. Captain Mike watched as his team practiced shooting down small drones that looked like alien ships. "Faster," he yelled. "The real aliens won't give you time to think." One soldier, a young woman named Jess, hit every target. Captain Mike nodded approvingly. "Good job, Jess," he said. "Keep that up, and we might just win this war." In Brazil, deep in the Amazon rainforest, a different kind of preparation was happening. Maria, a local shaman, mixed together strange plants in a big pot. "Our ancestors fought off invaders before," she told the people gathered around her. "They used the power of the forest. Now we will do the same." She held up a small bottle filled with dark liquid. "This will make our soldiers stronger and faster," she said. "The aliens won't know what hit them." High up in the Rocky Mountains, a group of hackers worked tirelessly. They were trying to break into the aliens' computer systems. Alex, their leader, hadn't slept in days. His eyes were red, but he kept typing. Suddenly, he jumped up. "I'm in," he shouted. The room erupted in cheers. Alex grinned. "Now we can see everything they're planning," he said. "We'll always be one step ahead." In Japan, a different approach was being taken. Dr. Tanaka, a robotics expert, stood next to a giant robot. It looked like something out of a movie. "We've combined our most advanced technology with what we've learned from the alien weapons," Dr. Tanaka explained to a group of pilots. "These robots can go toe-to-toe with the alien ships." One of the pilots, a young man named Kenji, looked up at the robot with awe. "When do we start training?" he asked eagerly. Dr. Tanaka smiled. "Right now," she said. Back in the United States, in a top-secret military base, General Sarah Johnson looked at a big map of the world. Red dots showed where alien ships were. Blue dots showed Earth's new defenses. "We're almost ready," she said to the president, who stood next to her. "We've got new weapons, new technology, and most importantly, the element of surprise." The president nodded. "The whole world is working together like never before," he said. "It's amazing what humans can do when we have a common enemy." General Johnson pointed to a spot on the map. "We'll launch our first major attack here," she said. "If it works, we'll roll it out worldwide." In orbit around Earth, the International Space Station had been turned into a command center. Astronauts from different countries worked side by side, monitoring alien movements and coordinating Earth's defenses. Commander Lai looked out the window at Earth below. "It looks so peaceful from up here," she said. "You'd never know there was a war going on." Her co-pilot, John, nodded. "That's what we're fighting for," he said. "To keep it peaceful. To keep it ours." All around the world, in big cities and small towns, people were doing their part. Kids collected scrap metal that could be used for new machines. Grandmas knitted special suits that could protect against alien weapons. Everyone was involved. In New York City, in the ruins of Times Square, a huge screen flickered to life. It was the first time it had worked since the invasion. On the screen, a message appeared. "People of Earth, the time has come. We are ready. Tomorrow, we fight back. Tomorrow, we take our planet back." As night fell, a sense of anticipation filled the air. In homes and shelters, in bases and labs, people tried to sleep. Tomorrow would be a big day. Tomorrow, the real fight would begin. The aliens thought they had won. They thought Earth was beaten, but they were about to learn a very important lesson. Never underestimate humans, especially angry, prepared humans. The battle for Earth was about to begin, and this time, humans were ready. The day of the big fight arrived. As the sun rose, people all over Earth got ready. This was the day they had been waiting for, the day they would fight back. In New York City, Captain Sarah led her team through the quiet streets. They carried new weapons that looked like big, shiny guns. Suddenly, Sarah held up her hand. Everyone stopped. "Look," she whispered, pointing up. An alien ship floated above them. It was huge and scary. But Sarah wasn't afraid. She smiled and said, "Let's show them what humans can do." Sarah aimed her new weapon at the ship. It made a soft humming sound as it charged up. Then, with a loud whoosh, a beam of bright blue light shot out. It hit the alien ship dead center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a loud groan, the ship started to fall. It crashed into an empty building, sending up a cloud of dust. Sarah's team cheered. "We did it." Someone yelled, "We actually took down an alien ship." But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. "Come on," she said. "There are more ships to take down." On the other side of the world, in Tokyo, Kenji sat in the cockpit of his giant robot. He had trained for weeks for this moment. Now, it was time to see if it would pay off. An alien ship appeared in the sky. It was firing its weapons at the city. Kenji took a deep breath and pushed the controls forward. His robot shot into the air. It was as big as the alien ship, maybe even bigger. Kenji could hear people cheering from the ground below. The alien ship turned towards Kenji. It fired its weapons, but Kenji was ready. He made his robot dodge to the side. Then he struck back. The robot's giant fist smashed into the alien ship. The ship shuddered and started to spin. Kenji hit it again and again. Finally, with a loud explosion, the ship fell from the sky. Kenji pumped his fist in the air. "That's what you get for messing with Earth," he shouted. In London, Dr. Emma Watson and her team were in a van, racing through the streets. They were chasing after an alien ship. "Almost there," Emma said, looking at a small screen. "Just a little closer." The van screeched to a stop. Emma jumped out, holding a small device. She pointed it at the alien ship and pressed a button. A tiny chip shot out from the device. It flew through the air and stuck to the side of the alien ship. For a second, nothing happened. Then, the ship started to move strangely. It wobbled in the air, then started to descend slowly. Emma grinned. "It worked," she said. "We've taken control of their ship." Her team cheered. Emma knew that with this technology, they could turn the aliens' own ships against them. In the skies above Australia, a fierce battle was taking place. Human fighter jets, upgraded with new technology, were taking on a group of alien ships. Pilot Jess was in the thick of it. She flew her jet with skill, dodging alien attacks and firing back. Her new weapons were working great. Every shot seemed to do damage to the alien ships. "Yahoo!" Jess yelled as she took down another alien ship. "How do you like us now?" The other pilots were doing well too. For every human jet that was hit, 2 or 3 alien ships went down. The skies were filled with explosions and falling ships. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, a group of soldiers drank the potion that Maria the shaman had made. They felt strange at first, then suddenly very strong and fast. When the alien ships appeared overhead, the soldiers were ready. They moved through the trees like shadows, too quick for the aliens to hit. One soldier, named Carlos, jumped impossibly high. He landed on top of an alien ship and started to tear it apart with his bare hands. The aliens didn't know what hit them. In orbit around Earth, the battle extended into space. Commander Lai and her team on the International Space Station were coordinating the attack. "Earth Fleet, move in on Sector 7, Lai said into her radio. "Space defense systems, fire on my mark." Lai watched as human ships, hastily built with a mix of Earth and alien technology, engaged the alien fleet. Beams of energy crisscrossed space. Ships on both sides exploded in silent bursts of light. "Fire," Lai commanded. From hidden platforms around Earth, giant lasers fired. They cut through the alien ships like they were made of paper. All around the world, humans were fighting back. And they were winning. The aliens, caught by surprise, didn't know how to react to this sudden, fierce attack. In Washington, D.C., General Sarah Johnson watched the reports coming in from around the globe. A smile spread across her face. "Mr. President," she said, turning to the leader of the United States. "I think we might actually win this." The president nodded, his face serious but hopeful. "It's not over yet," he said. "But for the first time since this war started, I believe we have a real chance." As the day went on, more and more alien ships fell. Human victories were reported from every continent. The tide of the war was turning. The aliens had thought humans would be easy to beat. They had thought wrong. Now they were learning just how tough, smart, and determined humans could be. This was just the beginning. The war wasn't over, but for the first time, humans were really fighting back. And they were winning. The battle for Earth had truly begun. And humanity was ready. 2 months after humans started fighting back, the war changed. It wasn't just about Earth anymore. Now, the battle was moving into space. On a clear night, people all over Earth looked up at the sky. They saw flashes of light, like silent fireworks. But these weren't celebrations. They were space battles. In Houston, at the old NASA Control Center, a team of scientists and soldiers watched big screens. The screens showed Earth and the space around it. Little dots moved around. Some were human ships, others were alien. Dr. Rodriguez, the lead scientist, pointed at the screen. "Look," she said, "our ships are pushing them back." General Chen nodded. "Good," he said, "but we need to do more than just defend Earth. We need to take the fight to them." Just then, a young soldier ran into the room. "Sir," she said, breathless, "we've captured an alien. It wants to talk." Everyone in the room went quiet. This was big news. In a secret base under the Arctic ice, Maria stood face to face with the captured alien. It was tall and gray, with big black eyes. Maria tried not to show how scared she was. "Why did you attack us?" she asked. The alien made strange clicking sounds. A machine translated. "We thought you were weak, easy to conquer. We were wrong." Maria smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "You got that right," she said. "Now tell us about your home world." The alien told them about a planet far away. It was where the alien leaders lived, where they planned their attacks. As soon as Maria heard this, she contacted the world leaders. "We have a new target," she said. In orbit around Earth, a huge ship was being built. It was called the Starhammer. It was Earth's first real spaceship, big enough to travel to other planets. Captain Lee floated inside the Starhammer, checking everything. He had been an airline pilot before the war. Now he was going to be the captain of humanity's most important ship. "How's it looking, Captain?" A voice crackled over his radio. It was mission control back on Earth. "Almost ready," Lee said. "We'll be able to take the fight to the aliens soon." But the aliens weren't going to wait. A huge alien ship, bigger than anything seen before, appeared near the moon. Alarms went off all over Earth. In New York, London, Tokyo, people looked up at the sky in fear. General Chen's voice came over all radios and TVs. "This is not a drill. All defense forces, engage the enemy." In space, a massive battle began. Human ships, still new to space travel, faced off against the giant alien ship. On the Starhammer, Captain Lee made a decision. "We're not ready," he said to his crew, "but we have no choice. We have to join the fight." The Starhammer's engines roared to life. It moved towards the battle, weapons ready. Back on Earth, in a lab in India, Dr. Patel worked fast. She had been studying alien technology. Now, she had an idea. "If we can overload their main ship's power core," she said to her team, "we might be able to destroy it." She sent the plan to the Starhammer. It was risky, but it might work. In space, the battle was fierce. Lasers and explosions lit up the darkness. Many brave pilots on both sides were lost. Captain Lee received Dr. Patel's plan. "It's crazy," he said, "but it just might work." He turned to his crew. "We're going in." The Starhammer flew straight at the giant alien ship. Alien weapons fire exploded all around them. But they kept going. "Now," yelled Captain Lee. The Star Hammer fired a special beam at the alien ship. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the alien ship started to glow. "Get us out of here," Lee shouted. The Star Hammer turned and flew away as fast as it could. Behind them, the alien ship exploded in a huge flash of light. Cheers erupted on the Star Hammer, in mission control, and all over Earth. They had won the biggest battle yet. But the war wasn't over. The captured alien had told them about more alien planets, more enemies that might come to attack Earth. In the UN building in New York, world leaders met. They had a big decision to make. "We can't just wait for them to attack us again," said the president of Brazil. "We need to take the fight to them." "But we've never sent people that far into space," said the prime minister of Japan. "It's dangerous." In the end, they all agreed. Earth would build a fleet of ships like the Star Hammer. They would go into deep space to find the aliens and stop them for good. All over the world, people started working harder than ever. They built ships, trained astronauts, and prepared for a big space adventure. The war had started on Earth, but now it was moving to the stars. Humans were going into space, not just to explore, but to fight for their survival. As the first fleet of Earth ships prepared to leave, Captain Lee looked out at his crew on the Star Hammer. "We're going further than any humans have ever gone," he said. "We're going to face dangers we can't even imagine. But we're doing it to protect our home, our families, our planet. Are you ready?" The crew cheered. They were scared, but they were also excited. This was humanity's biggest adventure yet. The war was getting bigger, but so was humanity's determination to win. 6 months had passed since Earth's ships left to find the alien homeworld. Now, they were finally there. Captain Lee stood on the bridge of the Star Hammer, looking at a strange purple planet on the big screen. "That's it," he said. "That's where the alien leaders are." His crew looked nervous but determined. They had traveled further than any humans before. They had fought battles in deep space. Now they were ready for the final showdown. "All ships, report in," Captain Lee said into his radio. One by one, the captains of Earth's other ships called in. They were all ready. This was it, the battle that would decide the fate of Earth. Suddenly, alarms started blaring. "Sir," yelled Sarah, the radar operator, "we've got incoming. Hundreds of alien ships." Captain Lee took a deep breath. "This is it, people," he said. "Remember what we're fighting for. For Earth." The space around the purple planet exploded into action. Earth ships and alien ships fired at each other. Lights flashed and explosions boomed silently in the vacuum of space. On Earth, everyone watched and waited. In New York, London, Tokyo, and every city, giant screens showed the battle. People held their breath, hoping, praying for victory. Back in the battle, things were tough. The aliens had home field advantage. They knew the space around their planet. They had more ships. But humans had something the aliens didn't expect: allies. Suddenly, new ships appeared. They were neither human nor alien. They were different shapes and colors. "This is Zork of the Galactic Alliance," a voice crackled over the radio. "We've come to help Earth. These conquerors have troubled our galaxies for too long." Captain Lee grinned. Their message to other alien races had worked. Earth wasn't alone anymore. With their new allies, the tide of the battle turned. More and more alien ships were destroyed. The path to the planet was opening up. "This is our chance," Captain Lee shouted. "We need to get down to that planet and stop their leaders." A small team was chosen for the mission. Captain Lee would lead them. Sarah, the radar expert, would go too. So would Mike, the best fighter, and Dr. Chen, the alien language expert. They boarded a small, fast ship. As they flew towards the planet, the battle raged around them. Lasers and explosions lit up space like fireworks. Their ship shook as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Through the windows, They could see a bizarre alien city, buildings twisted in strange shapes. The sky was a deep purple. There, Dr. Chen pointed. That big building in the center. That must be where the leaders are. Captain Lee landed the ship in empty space. As they stepped out, the air felt thick and strange. They quickly put on their helmets. "Let's go," Captain Lee said. "And be careful. We don't know what to expect here." They made their way through the alien city. It was eerily quiet. Where were all the aliens? They reached the big central building. It was huge, reaching up into the purple sky. The doors were massive, made of some strange, shimmering material. "How do we get in?" Sarah asked. Just then, the doors started to open. A voice boomed out, speaking in the alien language. Dr. Chen listened, then turned to the others. They're inviting us in," he said, sounding surprised. "It's a trap," Mike said, gripping his weapon. "Probably," Captain Lee agreed. "But it's our only chance. Let's go." They walked into the building. Inside, it was even stranger. The walls seemed to move. Lights pulsed in patterns that hurt their eyes. They followed a long hallway. At the end was a large room. And there, sitting on strange, twisting thrones, were the alien leaders. They looked different from the other aliens. Bigger, with more eyes. They had an air of command about them. One of the leaders spoke. Dr. Chen translated. "They say they're impressed. They didn't think we'd make it this far." Captain Lee stepped forward. "Tell them we want them to leave Earth alone. Tell them to call off their forces, or we'll destroy this whole planet." Dr. Chen translated. The alien leaders made strange sounds that might have been laughter. "They don't believe we can do it," Dr. Chen said. Captain Lee smiled. He held up a small device. "Show them this," he said. Dr. Chen held it up. The alien leaders suddenly went quiet. "This device can trigger explosives we've placed all around your planet," Captain Lee said. "You call off your forces, or we use it." There was a long, tense moment. The human team held their breath. Would it work, or would they have to fight their way out? Finally, one of the alien leaders nodded. It made a series of clicks and whistles. "They're agreeing," Dr. Chen said, his voice filled with disbelief. "They're calling off the attack. They're surrendering." Captain Lee let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. "Tell them we want a treaty. Earth is off limits, and they have to leave any other planets they've conquered." As Dr. Chen translated, Captain Lee looked at his team. They all wore expressions of shock and joy. They had done it. They had saved Earth. Outside, the sounds of battle faded. The alien ships were retreating. Earth ships and their new allies cheered in victory. The final showdown was over. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and won. As Captain Lee and his team left the alien city, they knew that everything had changed. Earth wasn't alone in the universe anymore. And they had proven, once and for all, that humans were a force to be reckoned with. The war was over. Now, a new age of space exploration and galactic friendship was about to begin. 1 year had passed since the big space battle. Earth was a very different place now. The day the alien leaders surrendered was now called Victory Day. People all over the world celebrated it every year. In New York City, Sarah walked down a busy street. She had been part of Captain Lee's team in the final battle. Now she was a hero, but things had changed a lot. She looked up and saw something that still amazed her, a huge alien ship peacefully floating above the city. But it wasn't here to attack. It was a trading ship, bringing goods from other planets. Sarah smiled and waved at some alien tourists. They waved back with their tentacles. It was still strange to see aliens walking around like normal tourists, taking pictures and trying Earth food. In a lab in Tokyo, Dr. Tanaka was hard at work. She had a team of human and alien scientists. They were studying the alien technology Earth had captured during the war. "Look at this," Dr. Tanaka said, holding up a small device. This could solve our energy problems forever. Her alien colleague, a tall blue being named Zork, nodded in agreement. Yes, he said in a bubbly voice, and combined with Earth metals, it could be even more powerful. This kind of cooperation was happening all over the world. Humans and friendly aliens were working together, sharing knowledge and technology. In Africa, a group of school children watched in awe as their teacher showed them a hologram of the galaxy. And here, the teacher said, pointing to a tiny dot, is where Earth is. One little girl raised her hand. "Miss," she said, "can we visit other planets now?" The teacher smiled. "Yes, Sarah. When you grow up, you might even live on another planet if you want." The children's eyes widened with excitement. For them, the galaxy was full of possibilities. In orbit around Earth, the space station had grown huge. It was now a bustling port, with ships coming and going from all over the galaxy. Captain Lee, now Admiral Lee, stood by a big window, watching the traffic. A small ship caught his eye. It was leaving Earth, heading out into deep space. "Another exploration mission?" asked Maria, his second in command. Lee nodded. "Yes, this one's going further than ever before. Humans never stop wanting to explore." Maria smiled. "That's what saved us, isn't it? Our curiosity, our drive to keep going no matter what." In Washington, D.C., the President of the United States was having a very unusual meeting. Around the table sat the leaders of several alien races. They were discussing Earth joining the Galactic Alliance. "We would be honored to have Earth join us," said Psylocke, a shimmering, crystal-like being. "Your species has proven its worth." The President nodded. "Thank you. We have much to learn, but we also have much to offer." As they talked, a secretary came in with an urgent message. The President read it and smiled. "Good news," she said. "Our scientists, working with Zordaxian engineers, have just successfully tested our first faster-than-light ship." The alien leaders buzzed with excitement. Humans were advancing faster than anyone had expected. In a small town in Australia, Mike, another member of the heroic final mission, was teaching a class. But this wasn't a normal class. Half the students were human kids. The other half were young aliens whose families had moved to Earth. "Okay, everyone," Mike said. "Today we're going to learn about the importance of understanding different cultures. Can anyone tell me why this is important?" A small green alien child raised his hand, or what passed for a hand in his species. "Because we're all part of the same big galaxy now," he said in a squeaky voice. Mike grinned. "Exactly right, Zorbo. Gold star for you." The human and alien children all laughed together. For them, this mix of species was normal. They were growing up in a new, more connected universe. In orbit around Mars, a construction team was hard at work. They were building Earth's first big space colony. Lisa, the project manager, floated in zero gravity, directing both human and alien workers. "Careful with that section," she called out. "We want this place to last for generations." One of the workers, a human named Tom, paused to look at the red planet below them. "You know," he said to his alien coworker, "I never thought I'd be helping build a city on Mars. And I certainly never thought I'd be doing it with someone from another solar system." The alien, a rock-like being named Gronk, made a sound like grinding pebbles. Lisa had learned this was how his species laughed. Back on Earth, in the rebuilt United Nations building in New York, a special ceremony was taking place. Earth was officially joining the Galactic Alliance. As the Earth's representative signed the treaty, cheers erupted both in the room and outside, where thousands had gathered to watch on big screens. The alien representative, a tall, elegant being of pure energy, spoke. "Welcome, Earth, to a larger universe. Your bravery in the face of invasion, your quick learning and adaptation, and your spirit of exploration have impressed us all. We look forward to the contributions you will bring to our alliance." As night fell on this historic day, people all over Earth looked up at the stars. But now, they didn't see just tiny points of light. They saw possibilities, future homes, new friends to meet. Earth had faced its greatest challenge and not only survived, but thrived. Humans had proven themselves to be tough, clever, and adaptable. Now, they were taking their place in a vast, exciting galaxy. It truly was a new day for Earth, and the future looked brighter than ever.